Hi there, I'm John Lebensold, and in this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing up our shopping cart on our end and getting everything ready for what we're going to be passing on to PayPal so that PayPal can take care of the orders that we're sending and that the transactions can be completed on their end. So we've got a view store page, we've got a clear cart page, but we don't have a view cart page. So I'm just going to create that very quickly. But before I do, I'm going to look at my add to cart page, which is the page that we've been working on in the last couple of videos. And I'm just going to refactor it a bit. So we have this shopping cart, and then we've got for each shopping cart get items as product, and then we echo shopping cart, and we go through and we do this for each line item, and then we render the shipping row and then the total row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up all of this into another template. And the reason for this is that we want to be able to use this bill, basically this line item listing of what you've put in your shopping cart on multiple pages. We want it to be on the view cart page, but we also want it to be on the add to cart page. So to do that, I'm going to start by just creating another function. And this is going to be, I'm going to create a new PHP tag here. And I'm going to say that I'm going to call this function render shopping cart. And I'm going to open that up, just delete that tag there. We don't need these PHP tags anymore. We'll deal with the HTML that's all over the place in a minute. And I'm just going to close that PHP tag. And I'm going to replace these echoes with the output variable again. We're going to say output equals, and then I'm going to say double quotes, and I'm going to close that here, and we'll just get rid of that. And then here, instead of echo, we're going to say output, and then we're going to do the same concatenation trick over here, and the same concatenation trick over here, and over here. And then at the bottom, we're just going to very simply, we're going to do it one more time here. And then we're just going to return the output. And that's it. So now we've got this function called render shopping cart. Now, I'm noticing here that it requires a shopping cart object. So we could actually pass in a shopping cart. Now, what's interesting about this is that we could actually take this function and we could render it multiple times for multiple shopping carts. Now, that's a little outside the scope of this particular project, but what that means is that if I passed in my shopping cart, and then I passed in your shopping cart, and then I passed in somebody else's shopping cart, we could actually render them all on the same page with a little bit of work. I'm just going to cut this out, and I'm going to put it in my templates file. I'm going to save that, and then go back here, and I'm going to paste it in here. So we've got render shopping cart, we've got render shopping cart total row, render shopping cart shipping row, and render shopping cart row, which is the one where we have the line items. Now, add to cart is looking a little bare here, but that's okay. We're going to now do render shopping cart, and we're going to pass in the shopping cart that we know and love. And then we're going to set the shopping cart after we're done. In fact, we can probably do that here. And now add to cart just looks like this. It's very simple. Everything here is well described. We know that if a product exists, we're going to add the item to the shopping cart. Then we're going to set the shopping cart back into session. We're going to render the shopping cart to the user. And then we're going to render the footer. So now let's create our view cart page. So I'm going to create a new PHP file, say view cart. And view cart is going to be very simple. We're going to have require once, load that wonderful functions file, which starts off our whole application. And we're going to get our shopping cart from session. So I'll say get shopping cart. And then I'm going to render the header. And I'm going to render the footer. Now, if I wanted to, I could render the same shopping cart. I could just pass in the shopping cart. And if I go back here and I say view cart, you'll see that we basically have the cart. Well, right now it's empty. We can go back to view store, we can add some linguini, and we go to view cart, and we go to add to cart, and they're basically the same. Now, that's not entirely complete, because we need to create sort of the PayPal checkout page in all of this, which involves creating a form. So, now that we have the shopping cart, we want the shopping cart to actually live inside of some kind of form that we're going to be posting. So this is on the view cart page, and I'm going to create a form. I'm going to say the action equals, and it's going to be some kind of PayPal URL, but we'll deal with that in a minute. And we'll say method equals post. We're going to do all the PayPal specific stuff in the next video, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to set us up for all of that. So I'm going to say input type, and we're going to create some hidden form elements here. Hidden name, and these are PayPal specific. Business, and then value equals, and then we'll have our PayPal business name. And just copy paste this a couple times. So we'll have business, we'll have CMD with the value as cart. So this is the command that we're sending to the PayPal server. And upload value is 1. And currency code. And we're going to be doing this in US dollars. And LC also is going to be, this is the language, is going to be US. And then we're going to have the shopping cart. And then we're going to have the input type. And it's going to be an image. So we're going to have that wonderful PayPal button. Name equals submit. And I'm actually going to copy and paste this buy now button from a code sample that I'm working off of here. And then we're going to just close the form tag. I'll hit save. So if I refresh, you'll see at the bottom now we have this buy now button, which will take us to the PayPal page. But we haven't set up the form here, but we'll do that in the next video. So all of this PayPal specific stuff is here, and then we've got render shopping cart. So once again, I'm going to refactor this. And I'm going to do that just by deleting these two lines and creating an output variable with double quotes around it. And then I'm going to put this in PHP tags. And here it's going to be a function. Whoops. Function. We're going to call this render PayPal shopping cart. Or actually, we'll call this render PayPal checkout, because that's really what it is. And we're going to pass in the same shopping cart object that we've been using everywhere else. And it's going to look like that. Close the tag. Actually, I think we can just return it. We don't even need to have the output variable. And we need a semicolon. And we'll break it up here. We'll concatenate. And then we'll be good to go. And you can, of course, download this from the code sample that'll be provided. So you won't have to type this all yourself. And so now I'm going to just take this function here, render function PayPal, checkout, put it back in my templates. And I'm going to take that render PayPal checkout, go back to the view cart page, and I'm going to pass it in the shopping cart. We'll refresh that. Looks the same, which is a good sign. And then we'll go back to the Add to Cart page. And you know what? We'll do exactly the same thing. So Add to Cart, instead of rendering the shopping cart now, it's going to render the PayPal checkout. And we could probably do all these opening and closing PHP tags is a little confusing, so I'm just going to delete them all. And I'm going to use echo here. It doesn't really matter. But since the whole thing is PHP now, it makes sense just to keep it all in PHP anyways. And just do that. So what we've got is we've just got a set of statements, really. You know, require once, get the functions file, get the shopping cart, render the header, then we get the product ID. Then if the product exists, then we add it to the shopping cart. Then we set the shopping cart, so we save it back. Then we render the PayPal checkout, and then we render the footer. And then on view cart, it's even simpler. We just go, we get the functions, we get the shopping cart, we render the header, we render the checkout page, and then we render the footer. So in the next video, we're going to go and we're going to put in all of the PayPal integration stuff that we need to complete this shopping cart. Thanks for listening.